All right, and the Philadelphia Fusion, they pull off the reverse sweep on the Houston Outlaws and win that match 3-2. An instant classic, in my opinion. I thought that was an instant classic. I was actually just saying to these guys how I love Overwatch matches where every player makes their presence felt. And I felt like that happened last match. Every player got a little bit of shine and did something incredible. Also, to all you people out there, I love EQO, I really do. But from now on, stop with the Shadowburn slander. Stop it, okay? All right, so for our final match of the night, we have the Boston Uprising going up against NYXL. This is a Boston versus New York rivalry right here. And you know, the thing about this match, I feel like both of these teams kind of got off to a rough start this stage, so they're both going to be looking to recapture their momentum this match. So ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. It is the final match of the night.
Boston Uprising, still rising through the ranks of the Overwatch League.
I don't know who brought the cookware, but regardless, it was a meal for the NYXL. Beautiful from New York.
And this is how you overwhelm teams if you're moving together as 6.
All the kills here going in favor of NYXL.
Dominant performance so far from the Boston Uprising.
New York continue to rise up.
Blizzard Arena, we're not done yet. That's right, it's the last match of the night. Once again, I'm your host, Puckett, and I got the whole crew with me. Sideshow, Reinforced, Zoe back on the desk, and we just saw, as Malik said, an instant classic.
Why don't you introduce us as roommates anymore?
I did that twice already.
Yeah, I think we pushed the agenda.
Do you want people to know about your bunk beds?
No. I'm just curious as to why you stopped.
All right, let's get into what we've seen so far today. Our last match, of course, is going to be New York versus Boston. But Boston, I feel like this is a squad that has to catch up because they used to be right next to Philadelphia. Philadelphia's at the top of a leaderboard. Houston's somewhere in the middle. Now we find out exactly where New York XL fits into this mold. For anyone who missed the earlier broadcast, what games do they need to go back and watch?
I think you got to go back and watch the game that we just saw as well. But also, if you want to get an idea of where Boston were at, their games last season where they played against the LA Valiant, all of these games, they performed so well.
I mean, there's a couple of games there where Dreamcasper absolutely pops off with monstrous performances. So Dreamcasper, we might have to relive those moments and pop off once again if they want to defeat the New York XL.
I'm told our players are ready. That means it's time to bring them to this stage. First, give it up for our team from New York. It's the XL. Despite falling in the Stage 1 playoffs, New York finished at the top of the leaderboard in Stage 1. So far here in Stage 2, they have a 1-1 record. They were able to take down Florida, but they were missing Arc in a loss to London that went to a Game 5.
Coach Pavane from the NYXL talked to me about their games last week, and they did say that Arc's last-minute injury obviously played a factor, but their biggest struggle currently is actually the meta. They said that they struggle as Jonak Sen is kind of finding it hard to survive without the Mercy now with the Mercy nerfs. So they actually have an issue of utilizing one of the strongest assets to their team, which has been Sen in Stage 1.
Yes, and so they have sort of changed up their pace of play. We see Libero way more on the Genji these days, and they're trying to emphasize more on the dives with Sabiolbi. And now, finally, Mano is back on the main tank role. That is going to be crucial if we're going to see a good dives coming out of New York today.
The guy put up an insane Lucio performance. He was
yeah.
really
Oh,
look at the cats,
He was so aggressive. Oh yeah, Arc. Yo, we're brothers. Yeah. Clearly, this wrist injury has not quite gone away. It's not completely healed, so we'll see if it has some kind of impact for him later on. But NYXL did look reasonably good even when he was out. I think, though, that adapting to the meta, they're not able to play the Roadhog, not able to play the Orisa as much. So it's having a bigger impact on this team than many others in the league.
New York is looking back to full strength, and they will be powered up as they take on the squad from Boston. Let's hear it for the Uprising. I love this Boston squad. If you watch them in Stage 1, they had a terrible start. It was 2-3 before they started putting win after win together. They fell just short of the Stage 1 playoffs, and now here in Stage 2, They're off to an 0-8 map count. They need to turn it around. You got to learn from your mistakes that you made just one stage ago.
Yes, and the coaching staff have always focused on the fact that they're very teachable players on Boston Uprising, but they need to learn quickly how to adapt to this meta in stage 2. They've really struggled with it. I don't know whether it's because they don't have enough time to set up those dives, or perhaps Striker's been bullied too much, or Dreamcasper isn't able to be pocketed. I think there's a lot of nuance to this meta that Boston haven't quite figured out yet.
Yes, actually, we knew Kellex for one of the more aggressive Mercies. He usually was with the damage boost onto Striker or Dreamcasper, but now, when he's forced to play the Lucio, they don't have as much damage moving forward, and so Striker and Dreamcasper has to be more clinical, one have to say.
And we should also point out their opponents last week, no slouches. They had to play Philly, they had to play Houston, very tough matchups. Today, though, these guys are looking confident, and you got a chance to talk with the coach. What did Huck say about his team?
Yeah, I talked to him about the performance we saw so far in stage 2, and he did say that they're still working through some issues. However, he did not really manage to tell me what exactly these issues are. However, he did say that if they fail or succeed, they do it as a team, and at the moment, they are failing. So that's what he said. That's not for me. I'm not being spicy.
Succeed or fail as a team, and right now we are failing. That just tells you that Boston knows exactly where they're at. They know the pressure that's on the line, and we have to ask about how much more that pressure is going to be today, knowing Arc is back in the lineup. What's the difference when we see this New York squad with Arc in this lineup as a support player?
Well, previously, I think it's been that he was able to play the Mercy so well and coordinate pushes and be able to keep Jonak alive a lot. But
he's got some time. Let him power nap. Don't worry about it.
But I'm not really sure because we haven't seen him in this new Lucio meta. He did play it a lot. He was a really good Lucio when he played it over in Korea in Apex.
So now I'm wondering, you must know, how does it feel to play with a mouse and a cast on? Like, will he be able to play that?
I think I have slightly less movement than he does. Actually, I can't jump. I can't press the space bar at the same time as WASD. So it's useless for me.
Okay,
I can't carry Johnny anymore in the ranked games.
It's
he
sad
has to
day.
go alone.
Carry me.
Sad day. Reinforce is very heavy. Trust us. He's 6'7". Let's talk about what excites us about both of these teams. I want to come with you, Johnny. When you're looking at this Boston squad, what should the fans be pumped up about?
I think you should look out for Dreamcasper and Striker. Those two has to be the instrumental players when it comes to the dives. And Dreamcasper in general, he is very consistent, but last week we saw the Striker was shut down a bit more, specifically versus the Philadelphia Fusion. So Striker maybe needs to survive and stay in the fights a bit longer and just be an additional threat.
All right, Sideshow, let's get some predictions here. Boston was 0-8 in their first week. They've had time to retool, to retrain. They've spent the weekend preparing for this matchup going up against the NYXL. What are their chances of causing the upset today?
I think they have a pretty reasonable chance of getting an upset here. I think this is two teams that were very strong in the previous stage and probably top 3 between them, actually. And then going into the next stage, they have both struggled. I think they have a pretty decent chance of being able to get the upset, but I would still consider NYXL the favorites.
NYXL is the favorites, and this is a classic rivalry. We got Boston, we got New York, we have all 12 players ready to go, so let's send it backstage to our casters.
Thank you, Chris Puckett. We have the last match of the day coming up, Hex. And because we didn't have time to hear from the other analysts on the desk, I'll just go ahead and make their predictions for them. Reinforce, sweep, 4-0 for New York XL. Zoe, same thing. They're all on board with New York here, Hex. I'm just a mind reader. That's how it works.
It's extremely one-sided. I'm going to have words with those analysts afterwards. But
Indeed.
Yeah, I mean, look, you look at the records here, and Boston had a rough week last week. They're 0-8 on map score. They got 0-4 versus Philly, 0-4 versus Houston. Of course, we just saw the epic brawl between Houston and Philly, so those are not like losses that are super surprising. But Boston, I expected to give a little better of a fight. Now their work cut out against them with New York XL.
Exactly. It is not an easy opponent for them, Hex, and that's why they are going to be here to surprise us today. It hasn't gone well from the beginning of the stage. Hell, same thing could be said at the beginning of stage 1. But then who was a real threat by the end of stage 1? It was Boston. Those guys adapted, they figured out how to play, and they started doing work. Same thing could be possible here at the beginning of stage 2, and so definitely do not underestimate them. Like those analysts on the desk, you definitely cannot underestimate Boston. Those guys, they can definitely do damage.
Hanamura is going to be ultra important. The first time these teams met, it was 3-1 in favor of the New York Excelsior. The one map they did lose was Lunar Colony, which is a little bit different than some of the other Assault maps, but the Assault mode was the one that Boston was able to pick up against NYXL. So this could be a nice little barometer early on. I think this is a map that they they kind of have to win. I know it's the first map of the set, but then you build off of this. You win this map, maybe steal one on control, something along those lines. Maybe Ark's a little rusty. Looks like he just got done with a, bowling a 300 game with a little wrist brace on. He's not even hurt. He was just bowling all week. And we'll see how it goes from there, yeah.
He just visualizes his opponents as the heads of the pins. Just, 10 every time.
Just knock him down. Coming in Brooklyn from the weak side right there.
There you go.
I'll see what the defense wants to run here. It is going to be Boston Uprising on the defense first, and really no surprise here, running a pretty dive DPS composition. The one thing of note is that Kelix is on the Ana. Ana is always going to be relied on when there is distance, good sight lines for the healing, able to keep herself very safe. She's also, we always consider Zenyatta as the one who can defend himself the most, but getting onto an Ana as a flanker is no picnic either, unless you really have good track of their cooldowns. Is the nade out, is the sleep dart out, but sometimes if those are both up, it could be suicide.
Yeah, you can just get shut down completely. We've seen it happen in the past. And well, neither of these supports for neither of these rosters, none of them are slouches. We got Libero on the Hanzo, and there's the Shatter Arrow right in their faces to start things off. I like it.
Very cool there. He used the Sonic Arrow to see exactly where that was. Unable to poach the Winston there, unfortunately, but he's going to cause the Genji to at least give him some attention up top, constantly threatening this, while the rest of his teams makes a rotation to the right. He's drawing a lot of eyes.
Woo! That was spicy. He hit that shot midair. Hey, there it is! Right up, point blank, scatter arrow to the feet. Lots of damage. Can his teammates follow up on it, though? That's going to be the big question here. Excelsior, they're still pushing forward. Another shot coming in from Libero. Another scatter. He's hitting shots left and right, Hex.
That's simple geometry right now for Libero. That scatter arrow is so good against tanks because all of those arrows are going to hit the ground. That's why he was able to dispatch Winston so quickly. And now this is not where you want to be. Libero may end up dying for this, maybe bit off a little too much. Gets out just barely so far. But now they're not worried about it. They're just trying to stagger the baby diva. I would like to see Libero stick on this Hanzo. He's got the
dragon.
Yeah, he's got the dragon ready to eat. And at the very least, you could use it to zone out. However, my dreams are dashed. He's going to switch to another Shimada.
Happens all the time.
Shimado, Shimada, Genji, Hanzo.
It's all the same. It's all the same thing anyway. I mean, he can still get work done. It is Libero after all.
I mean, it's the Shimada home map. This is the epic cinematic scene. They're going to take the fight up top first and room open up for Sabiobi.
Oh, buddy, and there it is. The pulse bomb cutting him in half. Still somehow managing to dodge it. Gamsu with the nano boost on him, just doing tremendous amounts of damage, and that will be able to cut things up and not allow for the New York Excel to push through.
Even in their losses, Gamsu's been a real bright spot for this Uprising team. I think as he goes, so does this team. That's the role of the Winston in a lot of these teams, where if the Winston dies first, that push is essentially over. But on the flip side, if you've got a Winston like Gesture who never dies, they can have such a huge impact on the game. I think his presence is going to be really important to try to at least make Libero think twice about where he is as Genji at least.
Exactly, that taser gun. Tesla cannon.
Yeah, taser gun.
Cow fraud.
Cool.
Cattle fraud. That's what's up. Look at this, Striker. The one clip on Tonak. No volleys. No orbs there. He's crushed them. Mono getting chased off as well. And Striker, he can just go and farm an ult right now. Yep, that's exactly what he's going to do. Gets his pulse bomb, backs off, plays it safe. And Mono right now just having to jump pack his way back to safety.
So New York is banking some ultimates now, and they might try right side push one more time. But when New York fails, it's when they just refuse to change their tactics. They keep doing the same thing over and over again. At some point, you have to realize, look, they've got our number up right side. Maybe we go broad, maybe we go left. Try something different. But when New York has struggled, it's a failure to adapt. There you go, some pressure on the point right away.
Yep, there we go. That could force them down onto the low ground, or at least change things up. They've changed it up to Libero. Libero, he just got cut in half, though. Dream Casper on home turf, just going to work. There's another one. He could get a third as well. Striker's there to help him out. Another successful defense here for Boston Uprising, and more importantly, they only use one ult in that.
That Winston jumping on the point was meant for Boston to have to push the panic button, but some great restraint from them. As you mentioned, only using one ult is brilliant. They didn't even really send much back to the point. That's meant to draw two people back to the point so that you have an uneven fight up top. That wasn't the case. Boston not falling for the trap.
Chap, glad to see that the katanas, they've been sharpened, they're ready. Striker looking for the pulse bomb, looking for the mega. Not gonna get a kill with it, sadly for him, but still, I like the thought, I like the style, the flair.
You forced out Sound Barrier at the very least. That's a huge trade. You would trade Sound Barrier for Pulse Bomb every single chance you get. So Nice cash in there. The problem with upper right side is where they keep trying to push for the offense is that Tracer loves that area. There's stairs, there's nowhere to run. That's pulse bomb heaven.
Indeed. This is where you really want your diva to be close by so that the D-Matrix can go ahead and cancel things out, cancel out that pulse, cancel out any other AoE coming your way. We'll see. There's definitely sticking together as a unit still, New York Excel, though Sebiobi's out on a little bit of a mission here.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, he's just trying to make sure the striker can't get in for that easy flank again.
A couple switches from New York as they're going to try something different. About the 4-minute mark, you want to check in. 2-minute mark, you make your last second switches so that you can definitely get ultimates. They do a duo switch here, and it's really smart to work together. Arc is going to the Ana, Libero going to the Soldier 76. A checkmate win condition on this map is getting a 76 up top, hopefully with Visor, even without his Vine, and then a nano boost can completely shut them down. That's what they're hoping for. But holding this top left where the defense is also allows you to hold this point. So they've gained no entry as New York.
They're still shut out. Dreamcaster's still got the blades. He's still raring to go. He wants to get into this back line. Libero's back here, and there you go. But the trance is out, and that's going to keep him alive. Dreamcaster has to back off immediately. Just hacking that shield. That's definitely not the target he was hoping for. Still, forcing the trance is a big win here.
Boston is such a good team at the counter dive. You saw the moment that Winston jumped over his head. That was the go sign to get the blade out and go beyond him. Winston got nothing done on the point. Primal Rage got nothing saved. Yobi somehow still alive.
Dude, I know somehow still alive. What is that about? How does those survive that? Sick heals coming in from Kelix, and the Falcon comes out here from Kelix as well. They're committing to this. Libero gonna get hacked by Dreamcasper, and Gamsu will get the D-Mech on Meko. Very strong defense. They haven't even taken a single tick, Hex.
Mercy's still pretty good. I like her on this point as well if you're not going to run the Ana because you need a vertical capable hero. Mercy, you know, for all the guff she gets about being this or that, she's one of the only heroes that can transgress the high ground rather easily. So if someone's in trouble on the point, you go down, help them out, get back up.
Yep.
Oftentimes you'll run an Ana and a Zenyatta on this map, and the Ana, maybe some of the sightlines get cut off. If you decide to fight in the stairs, you can't do it because the Ana's on the low ground.
Exactly. So you got to be very aware. Jonak. Looks like he was able to get a volley there to connect with some face, but it is going to be a fair trade back and forth. We do have Mono trying to get on back to Gamsu, but Gamsu leaps out of harm's way only to get pursued. Mono not letting this up, but Gamsu now can get some support. He's getting support from his healers. He survived for ages.
Really nice play there by Mono. He will get cut down eventually by Dreamcasper, and they still can't really push this, not without your main tank like that. However, they have gotten to the point they were trying to get to when they made the switch at around the 4-minute mark. They've got Nano Boost ready. They've got Tactical Visor ready. It might be time to throw them all in here, and at the very least hope that Boston must trade ults with you, then get one more push without ultimates on the field.
You can't peek into windows, man. Jonak's just waiting there with the volley again. Dreamcasper over the edge, but again the trance, and he's gonna be perfectly happy that again just backs off, forces the trance. There won't be any healing to take the point. We've made plenty of progress, however, for New York on this point. 2 ticks already, but now is when it gets dicey. Kelix has been killed by Meko. A little bit of healing lost here for Boston.
Jonak is trying to do his best. That is a sleeping Winston right there. He's going to get it to try to charge his ult, but only at 46%. You have to wonder the wisdom of waking that Winston. They have gotten themselves to 2 ticks, so that progress is permanent. They continue to push, but a nice pulse bomb takes out a big chunk of the healing. All healing now gone.
Yeah, why not? Mono, again, Kelix. He's having a bit of a rough time of it right now. Mono just has his number, but they will back off, go for the reset. No more stagger kills, rather, here for New York Excel. You can't afford it. They've only got the 10 seconds left here.
They're forced to switch. Arc has to go to Lucio just to get them the speed here. This is going to be a right up the gut kind of push, and they should be expecting Casper on the Doomfist looking to land a Fist of Fury.
Boom! Right into the back line. He's looking for it. A lot of damage on Mono. Mono getting cut off from the rest of his team. They are not able to keep him alive, and now Dreamcasper just charging into the back line. No problems there. Fight continues on this point, but there's nothing but squishies left as Meko gets caught. Trance is going to have to get thrown in here by Jonak, just desperate, trying to keep his teammates alive, but Dreamcasper's back into it. Fist to face, Libero's gone, and it's looking like a solid defense here for Boston Uprising. What a hold on the B site.
Sabiobi will get one in just a bit, but that is going to be it. That's all the progress they have. A very good defense.
No, it's a B point, not a B site.
Okay.
Can't say B site anymore.
Oh yeah, because no one has cassette tapes anymore.
No, not side. Side, B side, CS. Come on.
Oh,
A side, B side.
I'm sorry.
My brain for a second there.
I only love the best game on the planet, which happens to be Overwatch. So don't bring your subpar gaming
No, what was
references
it?
to me.
What was it again? The corner pokey jiggle poke game? I don't know. There we go.
Jigglypuff.
It is the point. It is the point. But
Here,
yeah.
there's actually a funny moment there with Casper on the Doomfist. There's 4 people on the bridge, so he just fires and forgets it, thinking, I gotta hit something. I don't think he could have missed everyone if he had tried, but he ended up going through, missed everyone. I think 9 times out of 10, he hits something, maybe 2 people, but there, he actually just misses everything. That Doomfist is so great, though, especially when you know exactly what the other team has to do. You know where they're coming. And, you know, it's on a bridge. They got nowhere to run. You either jump off the edge and you're out of it. On Hanamura, if you fall off that main bridge, it's not easy to get back up to where you're relevant again.
It's a bit of a long journey, and unless you're Tracer or you have some verticality like Genji, you're right. I just get excited to see Doomfist, man. We don't get to see him often enough, so I mean, it's just, it's visceral.
Casper is one of the only guys who will run it. He ran it before the Overwatch League began. He's a big fan of the Doomfist, so if you're going to see it anywhere, it's going to be from this Boston team. Now they have a very easy win condition. I said this is the map I think that they have to win if they want to win this set overall, because you can steal other maps, but I think that their track record against New York on Assault is good. And so far, all they have to do is finish out Hanamura. Easier said than done sometimes. New York made some changes, though. That's progress. The changes just didn't work.
Didn't happen for him. Kellick's getting all loosey-goosey down there in the bottom right corner. Stretch. Relax, deep breath, center yourself, Boston, because you got a real chance here to start off strong in this map series. It is going to be New York XL now on the defense, change of sides, and no time wasted at all here from Boston Uprising, and a bit of a different approach coming through as well with the Sombra on offense.
This first push is important because I think it's catching them off guard. No one is really expecting the speed in which they were going to get onto the point and start attacking. Also, that hack pack lets Dreamcasper poke around here, and if he gets in trouble, he can always go back to it. But look at this. New York pushed all the way back to tiny pack room, and Boston's just gonna bide their sweet time. Those supports are looking good for Casper.
Oh, he wants a bad, but now he's in a tight room. There's a lot of damage, and he's gonna get caught by Libero, the Hex. The Helix nades, rather.
With Jonak going down, though, that's absolutely huge. Defense has a really long run back. They're going to be able to clean up this room, probably be able to get back on the point. A couple of late kills with a beautiful pulse bomb from Striker. Still, though, New York is not out of this. They're just biding their time. They're going to give up a tick just for a chance to regroup with each other.
This is fun as well. Where is Neko? There's hide and seek. Well, there you go. Helix rockets to the face. That'll do the job. Striker's back in the fight, though. And they will be picking up this A point. Solid from both teams. Offense on the A point, been looking very good. Now, could Boston do better here on the B point?
Well, they want to snowball this, and they've got one of the best ultimates to be able to do so. That is the electromagnetic pulse from Sombra. Disables everybody's abilities. Everyone essentially becomes sitting ducks there. Might as well unplug your keyboard at that point and just accept the fate.
Parkour. That's what was going on there with Tracer. It is going to be Libero on high, exactly where he wants to be. He's got the tac visor as well. Out in the open, no gun down, hail of bullets. There's 2 kills. Big plays coming in here from Libero, just mowing them down. And it looks like they will hold, but, Hex, they still have the EMP.
Yeah, which is smart, and because I think they were saving that EMP anyway, unless the opportunity really presented themselves or it was a drawn-out fight, because you look at the other ultimates about to come online for Boston. They're at 80+% on all of them, which means they all should be there, even passively charging by the next fight. You can throw down EMP and hope to get there, but this is a safer play, I think.
Let's just farm them up. Farm up those ults. Get the charge, go in as one killing unit. Gamsu showing that he can also be a very silent monkey. Ninja monkey over here.
Hear no evil, speak no evil, make no noise when you walk.
Exactly right. You know why? Well, he's just gonna go charging it. Never mind, we'll get to that later. Neko, wow, just commits to it. Jonak survives! How does he do it? The sick volley there, the clutch to keep himself in this fight. Now, that means the volley's here to keep doing work. Dreamcasper, however, he's zeroing in. He spotted him, and he's on the hunt. Could go for the Dragon Blade here right behind him. Does Jonak have any idea? Absolutely not. Not even gonna need it, though. Wait, no way!
That blade was never coming out. That fight was over the moment Sombra, with her guaranteed kill, essentially, onto a Zenyatta, ends up eating it.
Fair enough, but Jonak, like, This guy's got to buy some lottery tickets today or something. Because I mean, how does he survive twice? He must have had like 5 HP both of those times.
I think in Jonak's case, I would chalk it up mostly to skill rather than luck. It's like trying to be good at Kino. It just doesn't really work.
Well, speaking of skill, here we go. Big opportunity for a pulse bomb as they are grouped up. But hey, Saviobi decides to get it done the old-fashioned way. Dreamcasper gone, Gamsu as well. Saviobi still holding on to the pulse, and if they were to push to the high ground, he would be more than happy to welcome him.
They're just out here for some kills. Gotta be a little bit careful, don't want to overextend, but you do want to pick up anything that they'll just give you for free out here. But they've clumped up, Elmer retreat, able to save their way through that. Blade and Barrier up next could be a good combination to work with. You generally don't want to use it necessarily with a Primal Rage, because sometimes you'll dash towards a target and they're sent to fly in by your Winston counterpart there. But New York has gotten a very good hold of their economy as well. Every ult up except Primal Rage.
Oh, we need to, yeah, there we go. Gamsu just goes leaping in. And now Libero, he's looking for a target. He's been boosted. He needs to find somebody, get some value out of this ult. And there we go, at the very end. Manages to get the kill on Nako. That could change it all as Kellis gets rousted. Sent packing. And for a second there, it looked a little grim. I was wondering, was he gonna be able to get in here and actually have an impact with it?
Really great patience there from Libero. You saw him slowly looking forward, and I immediately just checked if his dash was on cooldown. Because generally when we see a Genji not doing that, it means his dash has already been wasted. He's gotten himself in a bad position. But he wanted to get in there when the shield was at a level that he could cut through the Zenyatta, because they used Sound Barrier early in that fight. Great patience to secure the kill and keep his blade going.
Hey, guess what? 2 tons of mech does a lot of hurt, does a lot of damage until you run into an Ana. Keeping him alive. Jonak is indestructible. This is unbelievable. They just can't kill this guy. But they can kill Libero. Dreamcasper, turns out he's pretty good at killing. 2 kills for him, and Gamsu's there to help out as well. On high, perfect spot for the soldier to be, exactly where he wants to be. And they have a chance to make some real progress here, Boston Uprising.
Oh, they're in a great position now, and even the pressure from Saviobi is going to get deflected rather easily. A blind fire thinking that he was going to catch the Tracer as you might try to come reinforce on the point. This is a great Primal Rage, though. It will buy them all the time in the world. If they can just get clean respawns out, that might be enough. Just the 1 kill. That's definitely enough for New York to start to stabilize.
Oh, more than enough. I'm really surprised at Dreamcast for giving up the high ground like that and jumping down to the point, making himself vulnerable. Guess he decided he needed to get in here, maybe throw that biotic field down to give his teammates some healing, but...
It is something good soldiers should do, though. When you have high ground like that, and you're not necessarily getting all the kills you need, to go down to low ground, because then you're closing the distance. And it's a lot easier to hit more headshots, more burst damage, and really deny entry from spawn. So rather than doing maybe 70 damage from up top, you're doing 120 as they leave spawn.
So what you're saying is they have bad aim?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, there we go.
But I think you can give up that high ground. There's a reason for it.
Oh god, chaos! And Dreamcasper gets pinned into the corner. Striker, will he be able to find an opportunity to get that pulse bomb out? There are plenty of squishies, and he'd be more than happy to go for the stick. And well, there you go. Finally just decides to commit, but again, Zodak the Invincible gets around the corner, dodges the bomb.
I'd see that magic show. Jonak the Invincible. Saviobi will take down Note. This is how the offense was pushed back last time, with Note being killed very quickly. And there it is. We're below 90 seconds now. And remember, Boston doesn't even need to get it to 100. They just needed to get it 73.6. Not too much further away. I can't do math, but it's like less than 10.
Dude, that was ridiculous. Did you see how close they got, though? They were so close to getting the second tick, Boston Uprising. Just put a hair across that pixel, and there you go. That's the difference.
Yeah, well, they were 0.2% away. Had they gotten to 66.6, that would have been locked in. 66.4, close, but no cigar.
Get down. Get down. You get out. New York right now. Jonak decided to change it up. He likes the right corner now instead of the left, but that means that he can still stay alive and do what he does best, which is kill people. Saviobi's there as well. And well, Jonak, I mean, he is more than happy to just hold these angles and go for the volleys.
I think this might come down to Striker versus Jonak on the next fight, because no one's been able to deal with Jonak. It's a tough map, to be honest, to deal with supports, because Ana and Zen are both usually down in the corners with each other. So the moment you're on one, they're with each other. You're getting slept guarded, or you're getting discorded. Like, they've got this great setup on this defensive point here to be able to work well. They might just Nanoblade into this. There it is.
Oh, there we go. Nanoblade, the choppity chop. He might be able to do the damage through it, but it's not going to happen. That trance is there. Libero, however, will find the kill eventually on Dreamcasper. A lot of DPS loss for Boston Uprising, and now we're going to be getting into the overtime. overtime as well, unless they can get a body onto the point. Nope, trying to do the best that he can to stay alive, but he gets reflected to death. Damex beheaded, and now it is on Boston Uprising to come up with some magic, but it's not looking good. Gamsu is gone, Striker doing the best that he can, but the overtime wick burning down. And there's just nobody close enough here to get on this point and keep the challenge alive.
That's all she wrote. New York will take Hanamura. No one able to capture last in the big room of the Hanamura there. And I really like the aggression from New York to go into that fight and nano boost it. And maybe it's not the biggest value blade, he gets one, but the value in that is that he's still alive. We followed him throughout. He was able to contest on the point, strike down through the Diva, and cleanup crew. Is there anyone better than Genji? Dashing through, the resets are all there. New York adjusting to his style. Very happy to have their main support back.
Oh yeah, Arc with the shots. You can see it right here. The replay comes from Dream, at least at the beginning. He was doing work, Dream. He stood out. We'll have to see if he turns up here in map 2.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Saber Seoul, Korea.
Sabi will be leading the charge. He said, how you feeling? He said, just one word, ready.
새벽에 산책을 많이 나가요. 그럼 이제 한국에서는 별이 보이는데 그거를 이제 별똥별 같은 게 떨어지면은 그걸 별비라고도 부를 수 있거든요. 산책하는 걸 좋아해서 그렇게 지었어요. 새벽에 내리는 별비.
Oh, that's one. Get another one. He can't
It's a trap. Really tricky play by Sabielby. I love it.
원래 어릴 때부터 게임을 하면은 공격 포지션을 많이 했는데 다 때려 부수는 걸 좋아해요. 마음에 듭니다. 다 때려 부수는 건 뚝배 있겠는 거.
That burst damage between Libero and Sabiobi, that is brutal. And there we go, the follow-up. Sabiobi's just going ham right now. 6 plays.
좀 나중에 찔러도 되니까 기다렸다가 정확한 타이밍에 노리면 되는 거죠. 상으로 누군가 찌르는 타이밍. 서울팀 다이너스티랑 맞붙고 싶은데 경기장에 오면은 글쎄요, 다른 경기에서 느끼지 못한 것들을 느끼게 해줄게요.
Well, he is dealing damage like a bunch of meteors crashing into the earth. It's going to be nuclear winter here for Boston unless they can figure out how to deal with this guy.
Yeah, just try to be the extinction event. Put Boston down to, geez, I mean, they've lost 9 maps in a row. It's tough for Boston. You got to find something to hang your hat on now, get a little footing. Reverse this skid, because coming into this, it's a little rough. They were not able to... Sorry, you started laughing.
no, I need to check if I have a pulse real quick. Do I have a soul? So I was just like, we're gonna have a what is it? A group where they talk about their feelings, you know, with like Shanghai, and then they open the door. Boston's there knocking.
Yeah. Is there room for one more in this burger?
And then Vic pokes out as well. No. I mean, it's a rough start to stage 2 right now. I mean, Shanghai Dragons have yet to find a solution.
Yeah.
They are still working desperately hard to figure out how to get a win. But it's the same thing here. Boston Uprising, they've started stage 2 in a pretty rough spot.
Yeah, it's a statement game for them as well. They're sitting at 7-7, so you win this, you have a winning record. You lose this, you have a losing record, and you're just, you want to stop those streaks before they happen. You don't want to be on a 3-game skid. Schedules, the Overwatch League is schedules rough every single week. You can't start looking past teams, stuff like that. So Boston looking to bring it back now. New York still, you know, on top of the league, playing very well. Of course, their main opposition, London, also looks very good right now, too.
Yes,
so
do.
New York's trying to come out and make a statement, readjust to the meta, and see how things work for them. We're going to go to Nepal.
Always wanted to go, you know.
Yeah?
Looks like a lovely place.
You want to spend 7 years in Tibet with Brad Pitt?
Dude, Brad Pitt is cool. Imagine the stories he would have from sets, man.
I would regale you with my
a book.
Brad Pitt impression, but I'm neither handsome nor well-spoken.
Periwinkle Blue.
All right.
His masterpiece, as far as I'm concerned. If you haven't seen Snatch, go see Snatch. You'll just be like a much better person.
The important question is, do you like Degs?
Yeah, Degs?
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 All right, Nepal it is. We are going to start here on the Shrine. This is a map that you can run far on. That's what Casper is hovering over at the moment. The reason you can run it on Shrine, well, there's a big vertical structure, but all for naught as they make some last-second changes. Both teams going to run a 76. Be interesting to see. There's 2 spots for a 76. Up on the top left where you see now, that's a nice little perch ramp, or over on the right side stairs fighting on statue.
Exactly right. We've seen some Soldier here used on Nepal already. Jonak not interested in seeing Soldier play. He's going to go ahead and snuff Dreamcasper immediately.
The third option for a Soldier is in spawn, and Jonak is happy to assist him and help him with directions there. Completely snuffed out with that damage done. You can't do anything. Actually, really smart to just leave there. You're not winning that fight. You're in a bad spot. You don't have Soldier. You don't have ground control over there. And the reason they didn't have control, the reason New York won that mid fight, speed boost. They got there faster. They got to mid faster. That's it.
Yeah, so Yobi was there to shut Striker down. No angle there for Striker to work with. And it all kind of spun out from there. Jonak has got these angles dialed in for these volleys. Man is hitting shots left and right. He's nearly got his ult already going into the second fight. Could be big.
If he gets his ult, I think he should use it. They're only down 1. Casper is still alive. He's going to get healed back up. But you want to be able to get as much percentage on this point as possible. And this fight is dragged on so long. There is the Transcend that his reinforcements are going to be coming back shortly. However, they didn't just lose their D.Va.
Yeah, they did. It was like a split second too late. He could have kept that DMAC from happening. Instead, they lose that D.Va. But then you got the guy called Sivyobi, and he's just doing work right now. Libero gets caught by Striker, but right now this might be enough for New York Excel to actually turn things around and keep control of this point.
Well, here comes the swing back of the support ultimates as well. Nako's going to pop his Transcendence as well coming in. He got kept alive by Kellex to be able to get that Transcend still, all while New York has been in control of this point. They are now in control of the fight. No healing for Boston.
Well, they were, I guess, banking on buying enough time for the DPS to get back into that fight. So if I'm not mistaken, it was 2 tanks and 2 support running onto the point like, let's go! And then it's like, no, nothing's dying!
Which is fine.
Crap.
You can stall it out, but you do need the finishing blow from damage there, which is why I thought that New York was definitely going to fight that when Jonak got his ultimate, because they were just going to wait for damage to come back for them. They got that immediately and in control. That was one fight. We're at 81%. Last good chance for Boston to take the stage.
Oh, wow. Well, there will be the early challenge here. Both tanks moving in. Very nice pulse stick. Mako, however, will be surviving just a little bit longer. There's the DMAC, goes for the self-destruct, and that's going to force him back onto the point here. And they may be able to flip it. No chance as the remake was happening. That was just enough time for Boston to flip the point and start getting a little bit of percent on the board.
It's absolutely fine. They need to win a fight. It doesn't matter when they win it. They just need to win one fight. It could be 99. It doesn't matter who's in control. That's a huge fall off. Takes out Gamsu. A remake here from Note. Still 5v5 on the point.
Battle continues. No, trying to do the best that he can to stay alive. It's not going to be good enough, however, and Libero's there to get the mini diva as well. Dream Casper gets the attack visor of his own going, however. He is getting shut down with that big angry monkey in the way.
It's an interesting engagement there for the Winston. Generally, you can bully out a 76, but now when he's got all his friends and you are but one primate, they will push them back. 35 and counting up, so we're about at the 2-fight threshold for Boston. However, given how long that first fight went, it could just be one long extended brawl. Not a whole lot to work with on either side here when it comes to ultimates. Save Biobi and Mano nearing their ultimates though, so that is a slight advantage for New York.
Gonna be on the old-fashioned mechanical skill here. Who hits the shots? Sebiobi. He's got the pulse, and we will have Mano with the primal, so let's see. Where is the opening? It's Sebiobi. He's kind of got his eyes on those supports over there. That would be a bit of a bold move to go blinking in. Decides to play it safe though. Keeping the pressure on the tanks, and here we go. He spotted his target. Blood in the water, and there's the stick! Ah, you can just see it coming from a mile away, Sebiobi. When he gets zeroed in on someone, he's like a heat-seeking missile.
It was perfect. You called that he didn't want to go in dead across the center into where they're looking, so he waits until the rest of his team pressures them down. They're retreating down the stairs. Their eyes are not behind them. They just went up that way. There was no one there before, but Sebiobi comes in, sticks that 76. Healing station, it does nothing in that situation. And New York will win the first stage of Nepal.
So methodical. It's a real joy to watch when Sebiobi, well, when a master of his craft is going to work, right? He is just an artisan.
He's so good at like crushing other DPS. It's so amazing what he does. There's very different specialists, very different styles of tracers. Say Biobi, it does it all, but what he really excels at is taking the best parts of your team and shutting them down. It's like a lockdown cornerback in the NFL. You take your best wideout and you say, that's fine, we're gonna put this guy on him, he'll mean nothing. Sorry, I didn't mean to get into sports.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, totally
100%. That makes, yes. Hand egg, is it? Hand egg?
Hand egg, yes, it is completely different. You take away their best player, right? That's what he does. He shuts you down. He's the blanket that's going to shut down their best player. And in Overwatch, once that's done, he's got 10 seconds to be his own best player.
Do what he wants. All right, well, getting into the second point here, Boston looking to battle back. Dream Casper's going to be in the sky. It's going to be a bit of the dogfight. Libero's got the missiles, the rockets as well. And they're just trying to do the best they can to dodge Libero here. They don't want to be feeding him too much ult charge. In the meantime, Casper doing the same, but again, it's by the book. Jonak finds yet another kill here to start off the point and start the fight.
Jonak's back on the stairs. Jonak is forever away. Jonak's in a different zip code, and he kills Kelix from across the map with a volley. That's a little bit of luck, a little bit of skill. All the percentages adding up. Libero does go down late, but Jonak again takes down his counterpart in Nako. They still want to fight this. Jonak has gotten avenged.
There we go, 2 for 1 though. It is going to be that trade. Mano's trying to stay in here. This could get a bit dicey for him, and he does get splattered by Gamsu. But Meko is still here. A big body on the point, getting a bit low, however, close to the DMAC. Trying to do as much damage, trying to make himself a difficult target to hit, but eventually the DMAC will happen. And he gets stuck by Striker. The timing, impeccable.
Well, that's why you want to stick a DMACing D.Va, is because the bomb will blow up onto Pilot D.Va as well. It's a great way to make sure that no one takes a little cheeky headshot. That Bunny Blaster, man, you hit a couple of headshots on some of those smaller targets, and you're good to go on it. So Boston...
You've watched Holy Grail.
Yes, I have. And they will flip it back over.
The question is, who's got the holy hand grenade, Hex? They're gonna need it right now.
This reminds me of Worms. Great game.
I managed to dodge that one. The other guys were really getting it working. Nope.
New York has been backing up ultimates. They will have both support ultimates next time they choose to fight. Have taken the lead, has Boston, but now New York ready to come back in here. Say, Biobi's just gonna put on some pressure. Give a parting present to that D.Va.
Again, going for it. The D-Mech inevitable. It will happen. No, it's not. Somehow. Unbelievable. It does in the end. No, does get D-Mech just before the trance is able to keep him alive. Dream Casper with that sound barrier survives his barrage. Doesn't get a kill out of it though, but it's fine when he's got his teammate Striker wreaking havoc.
Dream Casper almost just ended up murking himself there. I think he almost fell into the self-destruct. Thought he was a little higher than he was. They will get the cleanup there as Boston comes back to life. Nice exchanges there on the points. Those barrage kills should, in all rightfulness, go into Kellix's kill feed. He's the one who kept up Dream Casper during that barrage. If not for that, he would have been absolutely eliminated.
Wait, what just hit Dream Casper?
Maybe some more, probably some
Wait,
orbs.
somebody hit orbs from that distance.
Well, it is Jonak.
It is Jonak.
It's either orbs or just kind of spam from Arx Lucio.
Regardless, that's a bit of a shock. He does get topped up though. Okay, Striker on the point, doing what he can, taking some time to, you know, put some art on the wall. Definitely necessary. There's the pulse bomb, not gonna find the stick. Decides to get the job done the old-fashioned way, perhaps. He's done tremendous damage to Mono, and Mono having to back off, give ground, hope that his healers can keep him in this fight.
Yeah, the tanks are in a little bit of trouble. So far on this stage, Mono and Meko have had a hard time coordinating together. I see them alone a lot of the time. One of the issues is they're taking too much damage, so one has to peel off and the other's in. So they're just taking turns, getting absolutely beat up by the opposing tanks. See, again, you saw the Winston's in there, but the D.Va's behind. And that is enough to get them off the point. The tank presence not really showing up for New York that stage.
No, not quite able to sync up into that deathly duo. And well, we saw Sebiobi, both Sebiobi and Libero somewhat struggling, not quite connecting everything there in New York. And so obviously Boston, not a team that you can take lightly. If you do if you start making mistakes, they are more than capable of capitalizing on that, taking advantage of it. And we're tied up 1-1 here on the second map, going into the third point. And well, get to see some Marissa play now. Who's ready for some halt and 2 Oblivions?
Well, the halt right off the edge can be very good. That's exactly what New York is going for with this composition. You cannot have more environmental death possibilities than they've got on the field right now, because it may be a mind to chuck someone in there. They've got Concussion Blast. They've got the Sound Concussion as well.
Arc, why you gotta ruin it?
Well, he wanted the speed boost to get his team out faster. Remember the first stage, they won it essentially because they got to the point faster. So switching into that tech just to get them a little speed boost, that's, you know, not a bad notion.
Yeah, well, we saw it. Buma was pretty good at that. The halt maze right off into the depths below.
Well, it's halt and pick, too. I mean, remember, this hook can come into effect and drop people right off the edge. So you can halt them, and they're not going to fall off, and then hook them right into the pit there.
And then you still got Libero on high. Well, whoever picks up this first point is going to be happy indeed, because nobody actually wants to get out in the open to deal with it. And so now the battle begins. Mono making a little headway here. He's getting topped up by Arc. He's got the barrier down on the point now. And so a little bit of room to work with here. That's going to force Boston to start having to come in here to try to take this fight.
Yeah, an interesting concussion there. Note will die both in mech and then pilot form as well. Jonak falls to Striker, but this one has been over for a little bit. They lost the battle on the point so strong. Resurrection will bring back Nako because he was in a reservoir position, but this doesn't mean they're generally going to come back in and fight. It just gets them closer to where they want to stage up for the next fight.
Ooh, there we go. That's the spicy hook. We'll take it.
Nako killed, brought back to life just to kill again. Why did they program him to feel pain?
That is a hard question that he is looking to answer.
New York so far running this static hook halt combo to perfection. There's the halt, there's the hook by Dream Casper.
Oh, that's so intensely frustrating if you're Boston. What do you do? I mean, you are playing the angles. You're gonna have to move together as a unit and hope that you can just survive it, because hey, guess what? There's another halt and a hook attempt.
Well, you survive it by either going on the flank or never going anywhere without your D.Va or Winston in front of you.
Yeah,
I mean, like, they're not shield tanks, but they can provide you enough to avoid the halt and hook, hopefully.
Oh, here we go. Flank option. Trying to get out of here. Halt again. Not quite going to connect. And so now Meko has to be patient, waiting on the side. They're just going to force Boston to get onto that point and start contesting here. They're going to need to. You got Striker in the back line trying to sow some discontent. And well, Sebiobi, he's got Tac Visor. As soon as these guys commit, it's going to get a bit dicey. Dream Casper doesn't even have a blade to try and counter it. It's just going to be the leap in here by Gamsu. Gamsu surely going to die. Immediately picked up by Libero, and Libero's there to help out as well. 2 kills for him. Neko gone, and it's all on note.
This is the difference between having Arc back They were so close to losing Sabiobi during that tactical visor. He was getting very low. All of a sudden, Arc, the true guardian angel, over the top, able to get him healed up. Those kills flip everything around. And I love where New York had set up already. The pressure's not on them. They don't have to get the point. They own the point. You want to come into their house and take it, good luck. They're going to try to yank you off the edge. Although we do have a switch. Mono has gone over to the Winston just to get back here and contest, but the hook is still prevalent. More importantly, Whole Hog could end this all alone. He could be hiding down there and just ready to launch you off.
Exactly. And there it is, right into the corner, hoping to do the best they can here. Z-Mac happens, Note hanging on by a thread up on the bookshelf. What? And well, now they get the play on the point. Overtime is into effect. Striker desperate here, just goes for the blink, but he gets splattered by Mono, and overtime is taken down. New York Excel will take the second map in this series, 2 points to 1.
Very good showing from New York XL. Took them 3 on control to be able to get there. And even with D.Va dancing on the bookcases, which I usually get kicked out of libraries when I do that, but special rules apply for D.Va there. New York looking very strong right now. Everything firing on all cylinders. I mean, you look across the board, Jonak and Arc, I think they're so happy to have Arc back. Always knows where to be right on time.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League. And by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
was a tight first half, but New York XL is up 2-0 at the break, led by Sabiolby, who stuck 6 of his 13 pulse bombs. Welcome back, everybody. It's Bucky here at the desk. I got the crew. It's the roommates. They have bunk beds, similar haircuts,
No, we don't.
and of course, exact same taste in seafood. It's Sideshow and Reinforce back again.
All of that was true.
That's fake news.
All of it is true. Let's jump into the action here because we see it's New York up top sitting at 2-0. Boston still looking for their first win here, their first map win in stage 2, and I feel like they should have had it on the first map. They had a huge opportunity. You hold New York to less than 2 points, and you don't finish. They weren't able to get their attack. Let's talk about some of the issues.
And this was so clutch coming out from Libero right at the beginning. It was like
goodness.
Boston did everything right to shut down this push, and Libero's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get 2 scatter kills and hit headshots on everyone.
Yeah, I'm going home. Gonna play some Hanzo later tonight. I'm inspired.
I don't think you could play it as well as Libero. Libero's always been
Don't
one of the
tell
best
me what to do.
Hanzo players.
If you're platinum, please don't play Hanzo. Thank you. I'll be on all night with the hexagrams.
But I think in general, you're right. The Boston really had their opportunities to win this game. They had 2 fights where it came towards the end. They had a win condition set up. All they need to do is get a certain percentage on the board. I think it was about like 70%, and they failed.
And they
failed
like
twice.
They had like 3 amazing pushes where they could have done it, but over and over again. I mean, Sabiolby got the picks, and also Libero on the Genji. He played really well. Not just a simple jack of all trades. He actually performed over average on his Genji play. It was good to see.
Yes, and Mano being able to move back to this main tank role. It looks like NYXL are performing as much as we can expect from them in stage 2. I still don't think that's as good as we've seen from them in stage 1, but the meta just fit them more.
I was going to say, that first game looked a little bit sloppy. I like that they were bringing in Hanzos, they were mixing things up a little bit, but there was times when it would just be 4 or 5 New York players down. When they were in those situations, though, they pulled themselves out, and we have an example of it. It's Sabiolby on the Tracer, keeping the game alive here on Hanamura.
Yes, and this is one of those 2 situations where Boston had all of the ultimates they needed to be able to take it, and instead they kind of just got messed up. The fact that they're able to put so much damage into Note here while Sabiolby distracts the backline, and then this stick, boom, straight onto Dream Casper, who has his tactical visor available. After that, the Boston Uprising are not going to be able to cap this out, and they didn't even get the second tick. That's what's so crucial about these clutches. Both of them, both times, denied that second tick, which was only a couple of % away from winning them the game.
13 HP, and it keeps on fighting. Sabiolby over 15 limbs on that ridiculous streak towards the end of game number 1. So now New York has the first game in their back pocket. We go in to Nepal, and it was, again, some unique strategies coming in from New York. Maybe a little bit too passive gameplay coming in from Boston, Johnny?
Yeah, a bit too passive. Actually, we're going to witness a 5 versus 6 fight that New York manages to turn on Nepal. I've got the insights powered by Intel, our sponsor, of course. So we're going to take a look here, and we're going to see Dream Casper getting an early pick. So I'm just going to fast forward here a bit. Not really, just slow forward, I guess it's called.
I like
so they get a pick onto Sabiolby right around this fight. And with this, Gamsu is going to react on the Winston and immediately jump forward. So they have control over the point. This is the type of area. But because they're so passive, they have no Winston leap. We're going to take a look at the support ultimates over for New York Excelsior. That's a perfect circle right there.
That's a great circle.
Yes, so we're going to see Jonak and Ark build up their support ultimates in time, simply because Boston can't engage with this pick, of course, and capitalize on it. Gamsu has to back off because Note is low, and so now Jonak gets the Transcendence in time, and they're going to turn the tide of the fight. And because Jonak gets the Transcendence, that gives time for Ark on the Lucio to get the sound barrier up, and they buy themselves so much time. Even Sabiolby gets back after being picked. And so they turn this fight 5 versus 6, simply because Boston were a bit too passive. Due some different reasons, of course. Some people were a bit low.
It seems that Gamsu made the right decision. Where's the follow-up here from Boston?
So, I think you need some defense matrix, of course, to back Gamsu up. And you need to press the advantage. You're 6 versus 5. You should win this fight. And also, you need to be aware, it's the second fight of the map. Of course, Jonak and Ark are going to get the support ultimates up and going, and you need to capitalize before they do.
Yes. Previously, when we've seen Boston play so well with these dives, it's been Striker and Note following up the dives from Gamsu. And Striker, you saw in the minimap, was trying to get a flank, but couldn't quite make it work because I think it was Libero keeping him out of it. It might have been Meko at the time. And then they didn't have the aggressive Diva either. So I think there's a couple of pieces not quite working with Boston's aggressive play.
The eager Diva. I like that he's made a return tonight. He went full British right there. All right, that is going to do it for our first two games. Let's give the Boston fans something to look forward to in the second half. Philly just pulled out the miracle against Houston. How does Boston do the same thing against New York tonight?
I think they turn the pace up. I think they have to play with higher tempo. And when Gamsu engages, they need to be syncing up with Striker and Note in the same way that we saw from them previously. We know that they have the ability and the timing to be able to do this, but so far haven't quite seen it.
Most important player for Boston in the second half, Johnny.
I'm actually going to call out Kellex because he needs to step out the tempo. He's playing on the Lucio, speed boost your guys in there. Or if you're on the Mercy, you need to provide damage boost and the healing, of course, because that's the type of style that Boston are playing, and you need to play to your style and up the tempo a bit.
2 games done, 2, maybe 3 still to go. Up next, we're going to have Kings Row after the break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
And the NYXL are up 2-0 on the Boston Uprising. The Sable Blue effect has been in full effect. Anyways, guys, we got another half left. Can the Boston Uprising turn this thing around and pull off the reverse sweep? Let's find out right now and send it over to our casters, Similar and Hex.
Yes, Malik, you just made my night. All I can picture now is Sebubu. Like,
Say-boo-boo, look at this, a picnic basket. You had to go hit me some of those pulse bombs. There's a pulse bomb in it.
I don't, man. Yogi.
I talked about this before. I feel so bad for Ranger Rick. He's just a civil servant doing his job, trying to ensure our beautiful national park system, and this rogue bear ruining his life.
Listen, bears do what they want. You know, you're gonna tell a bear no? No, that doesn't work that way.
Not to his face. Janice is going to come in for Mono there, and another tank swapping out, actually. Calio's coming in for Dream Casper. A little bit interesting there that you would take Dream Casper out. We'll see what they want, but adding in another tank, not a bad idea as we are headed to King's Row.
I wonder what we're gonna get. We're gonna get multiple tanks, and a Zarya, and a Reinhardt, and a Moira.
Can you do the entire cast in a sing-song voice, please?
Don't tempt me, Hex, because I can totally do that. Well.
All right, that's enough. I asked
on
for
it.
too much.
You gotta give me a beat, though, you know.
Yes, because oftentimes when people see me, they're like, hey, I bet that guy's good at beatboxing. They just see me a mile away. They're like, if I need a beat, that's the guy I'm going to. Clearly.
What they don't know is that you're a multi-talented fellow, Hex, and you hide your game. You play with your cards close to your chest. Clearly.
Well, as we walk through King's Row here, maybe we'll get to see the last points, the Omnix City, which lies below down there. It's been an interesting map. I'm so glad the map pool switched up. It's very nice to have some of these fresh maps, fresh strats here towards the end. I think we have something going on in the lobby, so we might have to wait just a moment here. So we are 2-0 right now for Boston Uprising. You're on camera. Act like it.
I'm trying to listen to what that guy is shouting in the crowd. Do it again real quick.
Of course. You just cursed it. The one time you
asked.
asked.
The golden opportunity to get out onto Twitch and to everything. World fame is waiting for you.
Just screaming for Boston. I think I heard some Let's Go Bostons earlier.
Something about Boston.
Yeah.
Boston's great. Yeah, there's a woo. Okay, we'll take that. There we go. We'll take that. We'll take that. We got some Boston fans.
Someone yelling about
Boston fans in here.
Yelling about the Celtics somewhere in there, probably. Celtics and the Red Sox, Green Monster.
Stop.
That's my boss. That's all I can do. It's
Stop.
not very good. It's not very good at all. Can't do impressions.
Well, we are, it looks like, lobby is just self-destructed, so we're going to get into the action pretty soon here, guys. Don't worry. So, Hex, tell me about your day.
You've literally been with me every minute of the day since we got in here today.
It has been a good day.
It's been good. I was telling you, it's actually very odd to have, like... so as a normal adult, you have to set your sleep cycle, like, oh, I got to wake up at 8. Right? But as a normal adult now, like, I have to stay up late the nights before since we cast, like, kind of late in the day. I'm like, oh, man, tomorrow's going to be rough. I got to sleep till noon. So I got to stay up. My normal day, I try to get up before, the sun rises.
What is it again? Hashtag humble brag?
No, I had to sleep. I wasn't even happy about it. I told you I wasn't even happy about having to sleep till noon. So I feel like I've wasted the whole day. But I gotta be here fresh and ready. It's getting late.
It is getting a bit tardy in the evening here. We're getting into the later hours of the night. You're right though. I mean, you and I both morning people now. We're getting old, Hex.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
We got some Boston fans that are waking up in the crowd. Don't worry, guys. We're back in the lobby. We should be getting going in any second now.
Boston-New York rivalry spreads itself across every sort of sports. We've got...
Nice. So, what we're going to do as we get this lobby set up, guys, is hear from the Boston tank. It is going to be Gamsu.
Hello, my name is Gamsu. I play for Team Boston Uprising.
Their main take, Gamsu was on point from start to finish here on Wednesday.
I want to be the best main tank player in Overwatch League.
Gamsu stepped it up so aggressive.
3 swift eliminations from Gamsu, working that dive composition to perfection.
Our team goal is showing to everyone who we are. I just really want to win against New York. I really want to win against them.
That'll do it. 2 kills for Gamsu, and that can turn the tide here for Boston.
I think we have potential to be the best.
Well, Hex, there you have it. The man, he just really wants to beat New York. It's not over yet for Boston. They're only down 0-2. New York need to win another map.
Potential to be the best, I think, is really apt for this team. And a lot of potential that they tapped into in the first. I can't say it enough that almost no one had good hopes for this team coming into it. A lot of lesser-known players, not to people like really deep in the know. We've seen these players around before, but it was like, are they doing this on the cheap? What is it? But then you get into Huck's philosophy of like, we're building a team here. And look, at the core of it, Overwatch is a team game. You can have all the best players in the world. If they don't play together, it means absolutely nothing.
It's as simple as the fact that Huck, he always had a good mind for the micro game, but the man could macro as well.
Yeah.
You know, on that toss play, he knew how to get it all going, the strategy involved, the long-term vision.
Yeah.
And that team, we're seeing it all come together here now in Overwatch.
And you know, Huck actually a big influence in my life. Taught me how to 4-gate my way to gold.
Yeah, and it turns out
Cheese
that
toss.
his team not full of illusions either.
They're not hallucinations.
They're not hallucinations.
No one's leaving the games early against hallucid colossi.
Yeah, no, they are definitely real, and they are definitely doing damage. I mean, it's not like it's been an easy walk through here for New York.
No.
It's always just these small margins. You start making these small mistakes. I mean, you can't do that versus New York. They're the top of the league right now.
Probably should have had Hanamura. A couple things, either one way or the other. I mean, their defense was so good, and to lose that map in the manner in which they did has to be crushing, and a spirited showing there on Nepal as well. So definitely, it's not a 2-0. Well, it is a 2-0, but
technically
the scoreboard is not indicative of the play that we saw. Very close between these two teams. And hey, we just saw a reverse sweep. I'm not counting that one out just yet. It does seem we are finally loaded into maps, so we'll be able to bring you gameplay momentarily on to Kings Row. Just update, still 2-0. New York up over Boston.
All we know is that the dollar store by the Houston Outlaws where they live, they're going to be all out of preparation aids. They felt the burn today. They felt the burn today. What a match between Philadelphia and Houston.
That was a long journey for that joke, and I'm not sure it was worth it. I'm not really sure. All right, that was something. Well, luckily, we're back in the map, and preparation your defenses is what's on screen for us right now.
Well, the win definitely feels good on the whole. Oh man, we're starting to lose it, Hex. Yeah, tech delays.
Hey, don't bet. It's not we just yet. I will fall into chaos with you, but I'm trying to keep my head above water just for the moment.
It feels good when everything runs so smooth. You know, tech delays, man. That's where you really get to have some fun.
Yeah, well, defensively, we've got set up. We've got an Ana on the defense, something that Boston has shown that they want to run. Ran a little bit on Hanamura there. Although I believe it was Calyx running the Ana on Hanamura, and they ran an Ana Zenyatta. Now, the reason why you might want to run a Lucio on this is, one, a lot of the fighting is going to take place within his radius.
Yes.
You're not generally going to anti-dive, especially with this composition where you got heavy tanks, so you're either going to be fighting on the point, which is his radius, or back in that corner. And if you get dove on and you have a Lucio back in that corner, you just bail. You just leave right there. There's not a whole lot of great escapes here on Kings Row, especially for the defense, why it's offensive favored, but you can speed boost out and then re-engage. Opening salvo is the Widowmaker from Saviolvi.
I'm glad that there are people who are as excited to see Saviolvi on Widow as I am, because then he's already out there, just goes for the grapple out in the open, looking for the angles, but the Rhine is going to be there to, well, cut those up. Triple tank in play here for the Boston Uprising, and I'm curious to see when Kalios, or what Kalios is going to be capable of. Calyx, not so much. We don't really need to get an answer to that question. Saviolvi gave us one.
Yeah, generally you don't really like Widow against triple tank, but when you've got a Pharah over the top who's going to be moving shields around, concussing people, and doing all that chip damage early on, Saviolvi just has to be the finisher. He gets 2 kills quickly. Still a couple tanks alive, though, so the stall potential alive for Boston.
Oh yeah, they can definitely still hang in this, although Libero trying to do the best that he can, chucking rockets in there. Getting closer to the barrage. That could definitely work well in this choke point. He just needs to keep connecting, and he will. There's the DMEC going down. That's going to delay things further as Note gets plucked, and here's the push. The last-ditch effort coming in from Boston Uprising. They've stopped it at half. They finally started to contest, but Meko now is the one doing the damage.
They threw a lot into this last-second try to hold for Boston. They threw ultimate effort, ultimate in there. Striker's going to switch onto the McCree, understanding they have no good answer for Widow. In theory, an Ana can maybe pressure a Widow, but one, not when she's got a Mercy on him, and two, hey, if you're shooting at the enemy, you're not shooting your teammates, and that's what you need. You're the big burst healing output for your team instead of the Lucio, so you need more than just the Ana. With the McCree, maybe an Ana shot softens him up, and then a headshot will finish, but you needed something more. It's a good switch for Boston.
Well, here we go. Let's see what's going to happen next. Already moving together as a killer unit, Boston Uprising, but guess what? Libero on the flank. Is at risk, though, so he has to be a little bit careful. Decides to get back over here, perhaps get topped up by his heals. And he's just trying to find an angle to get that perfect flank, that perfect barrage to completely decimate the Boston defense.
Now he's very far back, and now the tanks will engage upon each other. Gamsu is the first to fall, though. Justice rains from above, but sometimes it rains indoors if you've got a faulty roof right there. Libero raining the pain down on Neko, and that is going to be rough. All white in the kill feed as an avalanche of kills comes through.
Yeah, Kellic soon to follow Striker. Just a parting shot there to save his team's honor. Gets the kill on Jonak, but Arc erases that. And we will be back into the fight here. New York XL, all 6 members alive, up and looking for kills. Sabiobi not wasting any time at all.
Barrage is one of those ultimates that a lot of people think, oh great, I'm gonna wipe the team with it, but I actually really like when you just take a one-on-one with it. It's a guaranteed kill, a high-value target like an Ana, and unless she hits her dart, which might have been on cooldown anyway, then you're absolutely gonna get that kill, and hey, here's the bonus, you actually live through a barrage.
Yeah, that's a big deal if you're Pharah as well. Not every day that happens, although we will have Genis just leaping into the back line. He's got Primal to stay alive, and exactly, he's looking to cut this team in half right now. The tanks have to give ground. They have to back up to make sure they don't get too far away from their healers.
Self-destruct doesn't find much. Striker gets absolutely shut down by Genis. They have to hit this shatter here. The barrier is going to try to set them up for it to get in position. Plays a little bit aggressive, gonna hold back, perhaps thinking that New York was retreating, but they're retreating just to re-engage.
Oh boy. Oh, there we go. Libero with the justice. It is Swift. And well, you have Nako with the coalesce, but he goes down as well. Jonak with the snipe on Kellic. That's not gonna help things here. And while Striker, he is alive on the high ground, but that will not do anything to stop New York from pushing the payload to the second point. 4 minutes on the clock.
I really love the combination of Widow with a projectile DPS. Now, we've seen it with Junkrat, you see it with Pharah. It can actually work with Genji if your calls are perfect on it, but they cover completely different angles. You're never safe against this DPS duo.
We've seen what they're capable of. Yet another shot connects. It's on Kalios, though, so he's got quite a bit of HP to work with.
Gamsu's still holding this shatter.
Yeah, he's not wanting to throw it away, but it almost feels like just chuck it out there, mate. Get a kill. He's swinging his hammer. He eventually gets the job done. Sabiobi will get the DMAC on note, however. Things could get slowed down as Gamsu now getting cut off. He will be dove on here. Mano trying to get in, trying to sow some sort of confusion in the ranks as Gamsu gets booped into the wall. He's stuck in the corner. Is he going to be able to make it out? No! Beaten to death brutally.
I don't know what I just saw, but I'm pretty sure it's a criminal offense. Striker's still up here. He's going to get bullied out. Going to be absolutely denied. Is not going to have his way up there. Libero, meanwhile, is taking on Kalios. They have to completely regroup. They're back at spawn. Does New York have anything to shut this out? They can see through walls. That's huge. They are also going to have a Valkyrie. No more Widow on the map. No one's going to be able to touch this Valkyrie.
Oh, nice focus. No, great kill there.
Rezzed.
On Sabiobi, couldn't get, will get rezzed. Arc will bring him back up to life, but at least that's some time that Sabiobi is not there to land the headshots. Bit of a problem. But Jonak is still hanging around here. He's found a clever little angle to hide in. Sacrifice your whole team.
Well,
sure.
the headshot he wasn't around for probably
No, wait. Yes, it's happening. Can they get back in time? They're launching their way back. Oh, that would have been the sickest back cap.
You can't hear footsteps if your feet don't touch the ground. Almost gets it there. Forces a little bit of space opened up, though. So now that New York is going to be able to get this high ground, that's exactly where that's the headshot you need. You take down Nako right there. That's so much healing gone. These tanks are less than half power now.
And now you're going to have to force out the sound barrier. You need to do something to keep them alive while Nako gets back into it. Now Libero just going to go to work, hack and slash, and there's a dead tank. No shield to hide behind now.
Libero, aka the Patient Blade. That is twice now in this set. We've seen him wait for that sound barrier to go down. Working so well in concert now. Got Genji and Widow so good together. A little bit of damage, then you pick off the ends. The Graviton will mean nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Actually helps him out.
Everyone gets on the cart.
Everybody get on the cart.
Without that, they could have C9. That's a helpful grab right there.
That's a tough grab. That's painful. I mean, you want there to be the follow-up where in your mind's eye you're picturing, yes, we will get the grab off, we will wipe them, and in fact, no, it will be New York XL picking up 3 points here on Kings Row. Table's about to turn. It's going to be on Boston now to do the same.
I really like the Widow play there. I think Widow can be very good on Kings Row on all points. I especially like it against a Moira. When Moira's coalescing, it's not the same as Transcendence, where you're invincible or even have shields. You are still vulnerable. You heal at a high rate, you have regen, but that means nothing against burst damage. You're able to pluck that Moira during a coalescence. It's one of the reasons that they lost that fight. Remember that moment where they had to resurrect Sabiobi?
Yeah.
That was during a coalescence that ended up killing their Winston on their side. Had he been up and able to hit that shot, they probably finish it there. So that kill from Note on Sabiobi bought them at least another minute.
I mean, I love that from Note. Didn't waste any time at all. Just got straight up there on top of Sabiobi, shut him down. But some good positioning there.
When there's a Widow on the field, your job as Diva becomes very, very simple. It's a one bullet point list.
Bring the can of raid.
Yeah.
Kill
the spider.
Kill that spider. This isn't an Australian spider, you know. This isn't one of those crazy monsters that's going to jump at your face either.
Australian spiders it's just a whole different species. Australians in general are a different species. I feel comfortable saying that, having known Uber as long as I have.
Dude, Uber, hearing that now, he's like,
oh, he's a brand of his own, and it's a brand I enjoy. That's for sure. All right,
he is
offensively,
the party.
They want to kick out their own Widow. No, never mind. Wholesale changes come across.
Yep.
All right, we do have a Widow. It's going to be Striker, so a Widow is going to be the lone DPS in this composition. They will run 3 tanks and an Ana instead of a Moira and a Lucio. So interesting there. Defensively, they're set up in pretty much full dive with an Ana included as well.
Yeah, a little bit of range there. Kalios, take lane Janice. They'll get into a typical war pretty soon. The pillows will come out in a second too. I mean, no energy on his Zarya. He's just said, look at this. Like, please, I just want to kill something. Hit me, please hit me. He needs to get something. And there we go. 40 energy in the bank. Now he's going to start doing some damage. But he just needs to survive long enough to take advantage of that. Kalios still hanging in here.
Yeah, 30's not enough. The main source of their damage is dead. They lost Striker early on, although he can be back into the fight the moment he respawns because of the sight lines of Widow on this map. That's why they're going to back up a little bit. 42, not nothing to sneeze at, but still not exactly where you want to be as a Zarya, but they're going to make him kind of fight on the point here.
Yeah, no, taking point. Kalios will be there to help. Janice is gone, and now the back line threatened here by the Diva. Kalios roasted and toasted, and he's going to be able to get rid of one. There's the D-Mech on Meko, looking for the follow-up as well. And Boston, they've got a golden opportunity to make some real progress here. Libero, you can't reflect beams, but you can get healed by your teammates.
Katanas can't reflect energy beams. Wake up, sheeple. Kalios is going to have his Graviton. Gamsu didn't do a ton of work there. He's not going to have his Earth Shatter off, but an interesting last-second attempt to re-engage. Boston's going to push forward, and it's really big that they didn't have to use anything there. They won that just straight up by attrition, a slugfest with their tanks.
Got to give a bit of a round of applause there to Gamsu, knocking back with the hammer. It's like, oh yeah, you can try and contest. I'm just going to knock you off the point, and we'll cap anyway. So now you're dead, and you get to ponder.
The retreat not strong enough for New York. They lose 2 very quickly, very easily. Those are both the supports, which means these 2 people are stuck up here with no escape. Misses the jump, and now they're just charging into Boston's ults while not charging any of their own. The only thing holding Boston back is the terrible wheel technology in Overwatch. That card's going slow. Only 1 person on it, though. Might have been good to have 2 there.
It might have been good to have 3. I mean, I don't know. Like, yeah, hunting kills, that's all fine and dandy, but you got to remember there's a payload to push that needs to make progress. So perhaps not quite getting as much out of it as possible.
Kalios is setting up for the flank grab. Him and Neko are behind the enemy lines on the other side of things, right across from where Gamsu sees. It seems they've snipped it out, though. Okay, that could have been disastrous.
Yeah, New York not going to get caught unawares, it seems. They're on top of it. Kalios will have to get it done the dirty way. Gamsu is here with the Earth Shatter as well, so we'll see who decides to commit to this fight first. As there it is, the shield leading the way. Progress being made. Tremendous amounts of progress now for Boston Uprising. They're nearly there. It's going to have to come down to the fight on the point here for New York Excel. What do they have to work with? Jonak will just now get the trans. That might make the difference, but what a big play. Kalios forces it out.
Force out the trans. He still has yet to use grab. They have used Shatter in this fight as well. Janice will go down. There is a 75 energy Zarya in the backlines with the shield. Will clean up Jonak, and they are simply slamming their way through the cart. This could stabilize, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
It has to be on Saviobi here. He's trying to stay alive on the point. Meko getting D-Mech. No, just on the edge. Yes, he will eventually do so, but it seems like they were just able to hang in there long enough. No, with the D-Mech, goes for the self-destruct to get a new mech. Saviobi going to be able to cancel that out. Not going to die to it. And well, no, continues the good fight, but they are still not on the second point.
Defender's advantage playing such a huge role here, able to stall out long enough to get people back. Here comes a late grab on the spot, gets 3, and that will clean it up. Kalios had kept that one in his pocket for a while, saving it for a rainy day. Will grab second point with that Graviton.
And it was a great one. It was a great day. They went to the aquarium and then the movies. And then they got to get the wipe and get that second point on board. Boston Uprising with 4 minutes here to tie it up 3-3.
Aquarium and movies, you've been reading my online profiles? Like my dream date.
On MySpace. So, Gamsu, frontline fighter. Got the shield, but again, Libero doing the best that he can here to keep contending. Wanting to stay alive, he will do so for a little while longer. but they're continuing to make progress here with this payload. Boston Uprising, this is the fight that never ends.
I mean, when you've got these health pools and you've got all the healing there, Nago's just been pumping healing darts into his team. Gamsu seems like he's rarely below 500, trying to set up another shatter. They did lose Note during this, but now they're just going to let him swing free, but they've lost a couple.
He can do a lot of damage, but the trance is there to cancel it out. Jonak making sure that his teammates will be there live, and Libero making sure that Gamsu, well, he's minus ahead.
If you want to be critical of Boston and their ultimate usage here, one, they've kept them in their pocket, which is fine. One of the reasons you want to run an Ana with this composition is she enables your tanks to get the ultimates faster. So earlier you saw Nano Boost on Kalios, who already had Grab. There you saw Nano Boost on Gamsu, who already had Shatter. You're not achieving anything more except being a big body front line. You're not getting the added benefit of also charging your ultimate.
Libero, he has his Dragon Blade. Ah, there it is. Well, that was Note finding the kill. Striker looked like he chimed in a little bit. Janus is gone, but he's playing on the monkey, so he'll be able to get back into this fight soon enough. Libero's still the one who's going to be just darting in and out, trying to stay alive. He's getting smacked in the face, and he's just barely hanging in there. Self-destruct going to force him to give some ground, however.
That self-destruct probably just saved Libero's life. He was able to get out there without being chased down. Everyone had to evacuate. Here comes a Primal Rage on the other side of things. A couple deaths on both sides.
This is definitely getting chaotic. Meko D-Max, we do have Gamsu in here still, and Janus, Primal Rage wears off, but Jonak is there with the Transcend to continue with the healing. This is just a long, drawn-out battle as 2 minutes remain on this clock. Still plenty of opportunity here for Boston. Oh, Libero.
It's all right, eventually he knocks down Gamsu. Gamsu will go, Libero falls. Again, defender's advantage will be in full effect here. These attackers still very low on the guard. Striker can hit a pulse bomb and potentially end this, but it's taking too long. There's the grab and bomb.
The Wombo combo, Striker's there, gets the follow-up, and that might be the turning point here. Minute 45 left for Boston, and they get the big combo to work, but the sound barrier by Arch is thrown out solo. Him and Jonak trying to keep their team in this, and he does a great job of buying time. Seviobi's now back in, but a big sleep comes in from Neko. Seviobi, oh, the charge from Gamsu, rams him into the wall.
I have no idea how Art lived that long, but it's enough to get bigger bodies back on the points, and the more white you see here, the better it is for New York. Mako has killed 2. That is enormous. New York is just the infestation that will not go away on the card. Boston, rightly so, thought that if they kept throwing bodies at it, they'd be able to bring it back, but it's a sunk cost fallacy. At some point, they had to reset. Now seems to be the time they're doing so. It's going to allow, say, Byobi to reset up. Libero off the Doofus, back onto the Pharah. Now it's getting down to probably the last good push for Boston to close out this map. They will have Barrier to work with, though.
We'll have the boost going for Jonak, though. About to take over, and Genesis got Primal Rage as well. We could have the boosted monkey who could survive forever and ever.
You don't want to Primal Rage while you're nano boosted, but you use it as an escape once that nano boost is gone.
Exactly, and you can just perpetually stay alive and challenge the point, which is exactly what they need to be doing here. 30 seconds left on the clock. Gamsu leading the way with the shield. Trying to get his teammates into this. Arc is gone. He gets stuck by Striker. Big play possible there, but Gamsu dangerously low, gets picked by Seviobi. And another 3 big kills coming through here for New York XL. Self-destruct going to get used by Note, but that's of no great use in the end.
Libero's able to get on the back line. He's the one who got the boost. Boosted Genji even without a blade is very, very good. The damage he can put out, the survivability. He's able to help his team out who got slept there. Taking so much damage on the entry in, and they have to. They're in such a rough spot. Everyone is so low. One dash goes through Kalios. A reset will come off. He's going to be having the debuff next.
Exactly right. Now we're going to get back into the mix here. It's Libero. He's got the Dragon Blade. That could be the ender of dreams, and he doesn't wait, doesn't hesitate. Whips out the blade, decapitates Note, and that is it. Boston Uprising. Nobody close enough to touch the point, and to keep them from losing this series, New York take the series 3-0 against Boston.
We give Jonak a lot of credit, rightfully so, on his Zenyatta. He played a very good Ana there. But I want to play Ana for this New York team. Everyone is coming back within an inch of his sight lines. When Libero got in trouble, he dashed up to the top in the sight line of where the Ana is. They're helping their healers help them. Help me, help you. That's how New York held the last point.
Back scratching at its best.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network. Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League. and by Intel, the official computer processor of the Overwatch League.
Hello and welcome back, everyone. This is Zoe. Now, NYXL is currently in the lead, so I spent my halftime talking to the coach of the Boston Uprising about their current struggles. I mean, if we're looking at it in stage one, they were off to a slow start, but in the end, they really ended on a high note. Now, stage two is coming with a new meta, and once again, they seem to struggle. Now, Huck told me that the problem they have at the moment is that they are a group of players who lack the experience to adapt to a new meta as a whole, as a group, as a team. A lot of the other teams have pre-existing synergy. They played together on teams before they joined Overwatch League, and that means that they used to play together and adapt to new metas. And the meta we have right now is kind of similar to stuff we have seen in the past. Now, Boston Uprising, they have to start from scratch and relearn how to adapt to a new meta and make the necessary adjustments. Let's see if they can do the same thing again we saw from them in stage one and end stage two on a high note, but we've got to take it map by map, and for now, they're heading into the last one against the NYXL. Let's see if they can walk home with a victory on that map. And for all the action, we're heading over to our casters.
Thank you, Zoe. So, Hex, you're right, Zoe. Every map matters, and that is definitely the case here for Boston because it's looking a little grim here, at least in their first few series.
I mean, 0-11, I'd say that's looking pretty grim. That's actually a kind way to say it. They haven't won a map in stage two. It's been rough for them, and it's a talented team, but they've had a really rough schedule. Philly, Houston, New York, that's not real easy to come blazing in on stage two, but you got to start somewhere. Got to take that 0 out of the board somewhere. Look, map differential matters a lot as well, so that's something that has to be in their back of their mind. They got to start winning maps. Mono's going to come back in for Janice. Dreamcasper, I believe, is coming back in for Kelly. Of course, that is the lovely striker
That
right
is
there.
the lovely strike.
I can tell because it has his name on his thing.
On his thing there, on his jersey, on his shirt.
I can't read, but I can recognize shapes, and it
Dude,
looks like it says striker.
Those jerseys look so fresh now, too. Look at that. It's all knit and everything.
That is pretty sick. Those are the authentic ones.
Yeah,
not the silk screening kind of stuff.
Yeah. Real deal here at Overwatch
Well-
League. It's yeah, well, there you go. Map is set, and Gibraltar is going to be the last map in this series. And, well, both of the Widows, we'll put it out there because, I mean, Striker definitely hit some shots for Boston, but both of the Widows quite capable for this team, and we've seen a lot of Widow play on Gibraltar.
Yeah, it's a very good map for it, a lot of distance. Probably see some Ana in here as well. Of course, New York has won this series. It is 3-0, but map differential matters. And really, it's just confidence matters for Boston getting back onto it. As we roll into Gibraltar, a lot of high ground fights, a lot of mid fights, but really what I want to ask is, you're a rock climber. Is the Rock of Gibraltar like the pinnacle of wanting to climb something? Because it is the Rock of Gibraltar.
It is the Rock. Okay, so no, Yosemite, man. Come on.
No, Yosemite? But it's like the most famous rock behind only Plymouth and Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
It's true, because, well, yeah, I mean, The Rock 2020. No, dude, it is going to be Gibraltar just because that was the bastion of the British Naval Empire.
Yeah.
And that, like,
Do people climb the Rock of Gibraltar?
I don't actually have an answer for you.
I don't think they do. I think it's probably like a national monument. Probably can't.
Well, the monkeys, plenty of monkeys on the Rock of Gibraltar, apparently.
Well, Winston is squatting at Watch Point Gibraltar.
It
This
makes
was
sense.
his hideout. Yeah.
They did their research. Those devs, man, they're on point. I mean,
This is
Winston's a bit
historical.
bigger than the monkeys that you can find on the Rock of Gibraltar, but apparently there are monkeys there.
Yeah, well, probably a little bit smarter too. I mean, he is a scientist after all.
Guy's got a rocket in his backyard. I mean, come on, how cool is
You don't have one of those?
I do not have a rocket in my backyard.
Apparently, I had a privileged upbringing.
Yeah, you had a rocket? All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go play the rocket.
Just gonna hop over to school real quick, 30 seconds before class starts.
No, you don't take the rocket to school. That's for like a family ride. I took my jetpack to school.
Ah, man, the dreams. Being able to teleport to school in the morning, sleep an extra 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
When you were getting, like, the ultimate transportation from anything to anything was either a slide or a zip line.
You read Dragon Balls and it was all over.
Okay.
Goku's teleporting and you're reading that as a kid, you're like, why can't I teleport? Jeez, this would be so cool.
Yeah, Philly's missed a huge opportunity. At their house, their team house, they have a tree house, but it does not have a zip line which goes directly into the hot tub. Get on it, guys. Get on it.
Slacking.
Oh, we got
Totally.
Philly's not here. New York, Boston, Gibraltar. Boston on the defense. We have Widow v. Widow. That's going to be the micro battle. Dreamcasper versus Sabioldi.
Yeah, nice nade there to start things off for Neko. He's already up to 17% right out the gates. That's a feel-good moment for him. But they will all get topped up as well, so it is a bit of a trade. Arc not going to be feeling too happy, or sad rather, about being up nearly at 20% at the beginning of the fight. So progress being made here by New York Excel. Let's see the setup. As far as the setup is concerned, it is still Note kind of hanging around on that high ground. It's just a matter of when do they drop in here to take the fight, Boston.
Yeah, Boston going to be playing kind of conservatively. They've got a Mercy on this team as well. The tanks are dive-oriented, but they're going to be kind of alone in the up there. This is where they really hold your first stand. Generally, you see a Diva or a Winston up here, just making sure that the Widow can't have it. They're just going to deny. They're never really going to jump down unless everyone else is going in. They're just sitting up there because they don't want Widow up there.
All right, I like that from Note as well. Season Saviobi had to use the grapple, instantly try to get in there to take that fight. Not going to happen, though. He will have to give ground. Saviobi hanging around in the back line. We did lose Mono to Gamsu, however, so that's a lot of HP that's been kind of thrown out. That was a shot that you had to hit, Saviobi.
Well, they killed Dreamcasper, then that forced out the resurrection. Kellex did not get himself in the perfect position for that resurrection, was then killed. That's a nice sleep and elimination there. That should send New York on the retreat. They will back out just in time. They do lose 2 on the way out. Time to reset it. They were 5 meters away from capturing that first point, but back to the drawing board. A huge Valkyrie advantage for the side of New York, though, as Kellex did have to spend that time in spawn.
Yeah, he had to run back, and so he missed out. They will have Nano Boost fairly soon, though, Boston, so perhaps a way to slow things down, get that onto Gamsu, let him go to work tasing people left and right for additional damage. Always a feel-good moment if you're a Winston. But again, it's going to be that challenge on the high ground. Saviobi definitely wants to get up here, start trying to find some shots. Striker is going to be looking on the flank. He's got that pulse. He's ready to go, but he decides to back off.
Yeah, doesn't want to throw it in the defense matrix. They're just kind of posturing up right now. No one's really forcing the onus on a striker. He's going to take a different angle. And this is now where the tanks are out.
There we go.
A little bit interesting, he went for that target when there were supports in that room, but tanks are generally a guaranteed stick. Striker punished, though.
Woo! Thought he had that sleep there for a second, Neko. That would have been sick. But we will have the Valk getting thrown in here by Kelix. Valk used by Arc as well, and they're going in for it. There it is, the blade, the hack and slash. Neko is dead, Dreamcasper as well. Libero doing the work. And this certainly must result in a first point take here for New York Excel.
Where that fight took place was insanity. Libero, I thought, was just on the distraction play. He was, but the Ana was unable to deal with him herself, called in reinforcements. 3 people had to come back, and then the tanks for New York shut the top doors to try to get back in here. Still fighting on the point. Reinforcements are going to be here for Boston.
Very quickly, in fact, and now it's going to be the slow battle here between the two divas, although we do have Arc literally boosting a diva there just to get that edge in the fight.
Arc just rested his face. That was some BM right there. What are you going to do, Diva? Not enough. He lives in the Matrix, brings back his Zenyatta counterpart. Everyone very low on Boston right now, and they will end up dying. I can tell you a little silver lining about dying when they did, though, is they're not going to get that spawn that Mecha was just shooting at. That's why one of the reasons why when you come out of that spawn, if the fight's still going, you generally throw your body at it, because you want to respawn with your team, which is all the way back here. Otherwise, you risk getting stagger killed.
Exactly. Giving a bit more ult over as well. This also means that they will have that high ground here in New York Excel. This is key for the defense. And you can see Gamsu kind of taking a poke up there, seeing if he can't try and dislodge them. Mono, however, will splatter Neko, and that's already a good start for him with that primal. He's getting onto those squishies. That's exactly where he wants to be.
Oh, both supports now down for Boston. It's going to be an uphill climb with no healing, and 2 more will fall. That is 1 kill away from the full team wipe, just because Neko just respawned now. This will be waltzing towards the point. Spawns just now coming up. Looks like they're posturing to get back in here.
They're thinking about it there. Definitely thinking, can they get back in time? No! Bodyguards at the door. The bouncers were definitely checked in. And well, Boston Uprising, they got caught with fake IDs. Get out!
Well, yeah, trying to evict this Winston from the high ground, and this is something they should be fighting tooth or nail over to hold that high ground, because look who's down there. Never mind, Sabiobi in the grave, but that's where he wants to live, up there.
He wants to live up there, not in the grave.
No.
He doesn't like to be 6 feet under. He wants to be maybe like 12 feet over. Never mind.
That's the name of my punk band, 12 feet over.
12 feet over.
Yeah. Christian punk.
Doubling it up. Now it's going to be Dreamcasper hanging onto that spot. A couple of pot shots put in here, just keeping them on their toes. He's just looking for Saviobi, but Saviobi's already backed off.
Wow,
Nefertite is still up as well, though. But that was a cheeky little volley there. Attempt getting chucked in by Jonak. He came close.
I gotta be careful on that peak, but playing with fire there, able to get Dreamcasper out. Now they are all safe behind buildings. No more seeing through walls. Saviobi is still trying to find his position on the high ground. Dreamcasper is just on anti-Saviobi patrol.
There we go, self-destruct out into the open. Not gonna find anybody though. What? Finds Kelix!
Shouldn't happen. Absolutely should not happen. Kelix in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that's all their healing down again. New York has simply assassinated the support line for the Boston Uprising. They've been having ults. They're dying with ults. Not the grandest of things right now. They continue to push. They've got shutout potential all over this one.
Yeah, especially because Libero can start poking. He can go for the dive on Dreamcasper if he wants to. We will have Infrasight in play again here for Dreamcasper. Dreamcasper not even going to wait. Swaps it up to McCree. Looking for that close quarters combat here. He's done looking for the aim fights. And well, now we're going to have Libero diving in. Manages to pick up the 1 kill with the help of Meko.
Well, it was a patient blade because he waited for Valkyrie to end, but then Transcendence was there as well, but that means no more support ultimates. No more arc for the side of New York. They're going to keep pushing in a couple more kills. They could even stall this out. They've already used Primal Self-Destruct on the docket as well.
Jonak maximizing the healing there. Keeping these teammates in that with the Trans Mano, trying to keep him blocked in at the door at spawn, but he gets overwhelmed by Note. And well, as I say that though, there's the win, Meko, and he's just gonna chuck the self-destruct right in the door.
A nice little fish bubble over top there, a fish bowl rather from Gamsu will make sure that that hits nothing. And now I think that it's been too many kills. New York has to stop this assault and reset. A little less than 90 seconds on the clock to do just that. Dreamcasper's gone onto the McCree rather than the Widow. He's going to give up the Widow battle, but it does seem like Sabiobi will be switching as well. So both are the same notion at the same time. Sabiobi switching into Tracer against a McCree is an interesting choice, but Tracer's so good at stall, and they know this is probably their last push.
That's what it's going to be, the name of the game here. No, well, as far as Striker's concerned, he's got that pulse. Was looking for an opening perhaps there to get through the D-Matrix with it on cooldown, but not going to find it. Instead, up on the high ground, he does find Sabiobi, and he has spotted Libero as well. So some good information here for Boston Uprising to work with going into this hold, but now is where it gets desperate, and the high ground battle for both of these teams. Meko going toe-to-toe with Note.
You wanted the Winston out of it because I think they want to set up a closeout Deadeye here. That Winston bubble down would mean that their Deadeye should be getting much more value. Only one tank to deal with there. Just watching these flanks hanging out, making sure that his tanks are safe up top. Little Fan the Hammer just trying to crack that bubble.
Yeah, no bubble left here as well. So Dream Casper, this is going to be it. The question, when does he decide to set it up? And there we go. Out in the open. Got one target, but it's a trance, it's involved, and well, they are just being so patient. In the end, Libero peeks out just a step too far, and there it is. Dream Casper following it up, really making life difficult for Mono.
Libero peaked. They also had their Diva take a lot of damage there. Self-destructible coming over the top. Support's dead for New York. No more healing available. Gonna be a miracle needed out of Mako, and Diva simply doesn't have the tools to pull it off.
Boston, in the end, looks like they will hold another Deadeye for Dreamcasper. That was a quick one.
Sabiobi somehow touched.
No, wait,
Sabiobi somehow touched during that. They're still alive.
This is still possible. Overtime Wick is going, and now we have Libero going for the back line. Nako could be gone, and he is beheaded. Sold for spare parts. Libero doing the work right now. Gamsu's out as well.
Oh my God, they are so close to finishing it out. They will finish out Gibraltar. Beautiful play from Sabiobi, millisecond kind of reactions. Deadeye was going on. He blinked past the McCree. McCree pivoted. He touched the cart during that, recalled back, reset the timer on that cart that allowed the team to come in. That was amazing.
You just saw him with a little hair swoosh there at the end. He's like, yeah, it ain't no thing. I do this every day.
If you're Boston, you're wondering what deity you have wronged here, and I'll tell you the answer. Sabiobi is the god you have wronged here. I cannot believe he just pulled that play off.
Oh, those were frags, but sometimes, you know, yeah, the kills are important, but the big plays, you got to remember that payload. That's what it's all about.
Dreamcasper might have had his hands off the mouse at that point. You're dead-eyeing John Wayne in your way to victory, thinking that's over. Here comes a Tracer, no problem. Blink, touch, recall, back. Then I think he hit a pulse bomb onto Kelix right afterwards. My goodness, that's unfair.
Yeah, what do you do against Sabiobi? Well, I mean, you just gotta call London. London, hey, Prophet, what do you do against Sabiobi?
Ring London on the telly. I think you have to speak their language.
Prophet just laughs at you and hangs up.
That'd be one of the nicer gestures.
What do you do? I mean, everybody's wondering. What a beast. All right, now we're going to be swapping into it, and that's definitely going to be a bit frustrating, a bit of a sour pill for Boston.
You got to have a short memory in this situation. Yeah, that just happened. Forget about it. Forget about it. That can tilt you off the planet that just happened. You were so close to shutting them down and having a very easy win condition of just finishing the map. Now you got to finish the map just to get another go at it. You have to absolutely complete Gibraltar. Not the easiest of maps to complete. We'll see. Both teams running similar setups as the other on both teams that they ran on previous half, excuse me.
No Widow here, though.
No, yeah, that is odd. That's a good call. I did not see that.
No Widow for New York Excel, rather. Boston Uprising Dreamcasper's going to have his Widow. Was looking for Sabiobi there to counter him, but that's not going to be the case. No sniper duel here to kick things off.
Yeah, New York running a pure dive composition with an Ana in the mix. Ana, of course, very comfortable on Gibraltar for all the reasons we've already mentioned on the broadcast. Distance being the greatest one. A nice little headshot. Gonna make him uncomfortable. Probably gonna have to bail down off of that spot. Gonna get himself healed up, though.
Yeah, I mean, Ark, look at him. He's nearly got nano. This is obscene how quick he's doing it. Although Dreamcaster can snuff him now. That would be big. He gets caught in the door. You can't get out. Mano and Libero. Big plays.
You're stuck in here with me, and they take out everybody. You don't even have to fire as your wits there. You just hold a door. You just like play dumb. Am I in your way? I mean, excuse me. Am I in your way?
Oh, and now Note. Well,
complete cleanup for New York. And look at this economy. Look at the ultimate advantage here. As you mentioned, Arc pumping and damage. Headshotting Mano might have been the worst decision they could have made there. He just got healed up for about 300 HP, and that gave Arc everything he needed. Now, Mano hasn't done a lot of damage, but you can boost Mano. Mano can get in there, and then he can get his way to a Primal Rage, and then stay in there, and then here comes Libero. Boston needs to kind of econ push this now. They need to hope to pressure down and use some of these New York ultimates because they're nowhere near where they need to be.
Buddy, well, there we go. It is going to be the nano boost right into the cleave. Lots of damage being dealt here by Mono, who's dancing on the edge, but he's getting topped up by his mates. And Arc doing a fantastic job of getting the heals in. That means that Nako has actually committed with the trance, hoping to keep his teammates alive. Libero has been picked, and so the threat of Dragon Blade no longer here. Dreamcaster's got to be careful, though, so if you'll be trying to eat him alive.
That trance at first glance looked a little bit misplaced. However, they knew they were going to get the resurrection on Dreamcasper, who they had just lost. So they get back to full force while there's pressure on the cart. Dreamcasper has all the area he needs, but does get taken down again. They have definitely prioritized Dreamcasper here. But now they did burn out a few ultimates from the other side. That's exactly what they needed. The downside of that is that they ended up using ultimates of their own, did Boston. So it's kind of an even setup here. Libero's got Blade ready, though.
Even in terms of the support ults, except that we've seen how quick Arc can generate that boost. And now Mono just goes for the Primal, continues to kind of bat him around, have some fun. He is on the edge, he gets dangerously close, and Note is there to win that duel. Striker takes down Jonak as well. Some serious damage being dealt, but guess what? Libero is here. There's the 1, there's the 2, and he's only gonna be able to pick up the 1 before having to go for the reflect. Definitely thought he would make, oh, never mind!
I didn't even see that, Mercy. 6 cents from Libero, just swipes at the sky, sees if he can catch some gnats up there, and Mercy will fall. Sabiobi comes in, takes down a couple more. Dreamcaster with a late kill, but it matters not. 2 meters away, and that's where it will stay for now. Under a minute, back against the wall for Boston Uprising.
Arc is a sadist. It's like,
Good term.
You were worried about Sabiobi. Well, how about a boosted Sabiobi? 50% more damage to the face. Definitely not the guy you want with that.
Libero's really shined today as well. I think that we pay so much attention to Sabiobi that Libero gets forgotten, but they work well together playing the different heroes that they do. Such great complementary DPS.
On both sides.
30 seconds.
On both sides. You got to give it to Striker and Dreamcaster. They're doing their absolute best right now. But Sabiobi, again, there it is. The trance gets forced. That's a big play from him. No ult even having to be committed to that. Libero's going to be grinning ear to ear. Let's see how fast he can get his Dragon Blade going.
Sabiobi's
10 seconds left.
Sabiobi's back, but he's getting absolutely stifled. They're supporting the Zen, not letting him die. Bobby's got the pulse bomb, though.
Well, shots are in. Jonak decides to commit, forcing him into the corner. Sabiobi could have a golden opportunity here for the pulse if he wanted to, if he could find somebody to stick. No need. 4-0 sweep for the New York Excel over the Boston Uprising, who are left, well, still wondering what they need to change here.
He just got funneled into that corner and absolutely picked apart there. If it wasn't the pulse bomb, it was definitely the dash through that was coming in anyway. You can keep supports alive with each other so long, but not when you get absolutely collapsed on. A little bit of a positioning issue there, but they got funneled into that corner by New York. Boston 0-12 now in map score to start stage 2. Not what we expected out of this team. I expect them to be more aggressive, and perhaps the meta shifting has changed some of their confidence in it, but this team, when they were winning, were dive heavy, dive on defense, dive on offense, let's find targets to kill.
Well, let's go ahead and hear what the desk have to say about the last series of the day here at the Overwatch League. Puckett, it's all you.
Thank you so much, fellas. First off, shout out to Jonak and his sweet kicks. It's going to be all New York tonight, a 4-0 as Boston is handed another loss. Really, guys, let's start here, because if you're a Boston fan, you have to be so confused. Your team was looking so strong at the end of stage 1. We thought they were going to make it into the playoffs. Now, you haven't won a single map. You've lost to Philly. You've lost to Houston. And today, things did not get easier.
Well, you've lost to probably 3 of the best teams in the league, right? So they haven't had the best
excuses.
strength of schedule. Yeah, well, nice excuse, sure. But, you know, I don't want to feel too bad about Boston because it's been good teams.
Yeah. What if I remind you that they have to play London 3 matches from now?
Oh boy.
So you look at their opening 5, you're playing some pretty tough squads here if you're this Boston squad.
Hold on.
Your next matches are against Florida and Shanghai, so hopefully things will get a little bit better. But if you look back at the games here today, it looked like Boston was constantly on the back foot. Sabiobi just kind of taking it to the squad.
I was not a big fan of playing this triple tank composition into the Widowmaker and the Pharos and the Doomfist. I think that New York Excelsior, they just took advantage of the fact that Boston Uprising refused to swap off the triple tank composition. We even saw Anna in times just because they realized that Boston won't be able to reach the back line of New York. So we're just going to swap away from the Lucio and just utilize the Ana.
It definitely looks like Boston are outthinking themselves when it comes to adapting to Stage 2. They're playing a lot of the Dreamcasper on Widow, on McCree, on Soldier, and that gives them a more passive approach. We saw throughout the entire match they were really focusing Meko down, the Diva from NYXL, which suggests that they're trying to play, like, they're trying to take out the tanks before they go to the supports, which is the complete opposite of how they were playing. So maybe they're just getting in their own heads a little bit too much.
And you mentioned that they were trying to target that Diva, and you pointed out while we were watching the games, but half the time I felt like the Diva got away unscathed, even though everyone was focusing her. New York was just able to keep their tanks up. The DPS got their job done over on the New York side of things, and we already talked about Sabiolbe during the match. But today, our player of the match, sponsored by Omen by HP, it's Sabiolbe's counterpart, Libero, was going off throughout this series.
Yeah, I felt like Libero had a great game on Genji, particularly when he moved over to it, but he really has been the jack of all trades, master of none so far in the Overwatch League, but he's having big performances now.
This might be the turning point, in my opinion, because if New York Excelsior, they want to be the #1 team in the league, then Libero has to step it up. And today he looks really good. On all of the heroes he really has to play. It's the Soldier, it's the Genji, and the Pharah right here. Those are the heroes he needs to excel at, and today he did.
No Doomfist, huh? You don't love his Doomfist?
Yeah, Doomfist, I'd love to see it.
But not nearly as much as his Genji. That was my favorite tonight. You look at some of these Genji numbers, 29 limbs, 5 deaths, 17 final blows. Ridiculous stuff coming in from the NYXL DPS duo. It's been a good day here, guys. New York, a big win, and you have to remember this is a 4-0, which goes towards their map count here in stage number 2. Before we close out tonight, I just want to recap an awesome day with you guys. Best moment of the day for you, Sideshow.
Oh, the Philadelphia Fusion reverse sweep has got to be the big point of the day. We thought they were down and out after the halftime, and they came right back in.
Yeah, and now they're pretty much set to actually clinch a playoff spot later this stage. They've beaten Houston, who arguably were contesting for one as well, and they're climbing the overall standing. So Philadelphia Fusion, they're looking real scary.
Yeah, look at that. They joined the Outlaws, London, and the Valiant all at 9-4. It's getting really tight at the top, and tomorrow the action continues. We get a chance to see our LA teams once again. The Gladiators versus Seoul Dynasty, the match that has Sideshow all kinds of excited.
No, the one that has me all kinds of excited is Dallas Fuel against the LA Valiant. That game is going to be spicy. Western rivals going up against each other.
I was very confused. You did like jazz fingers here on the desk. It looked very, very fun.
That's the only range of movement I've got.
We're losing it here on the desk, but we want to thank everybody who tuned in today, all the crowd that showed up here to the Blizzard Arena. That is it for day 2 here in week 2, but we'll be back tomorrow starting at the same time. We'll see you at 4 p.m. Pacific.